And we're back. Welcome to Dream Big Tuesday here on a beautiful, sorry about that, sunny Tuesday in Sweden. So, I welcome you to my Dream Big Tuesday. And last Tuesday, I was talking about the book Start with Why, written by Mr. Simon Sinek, which I am reading at the moment. I'm being very inspired by. Um, and I want to continue my journey because as I read, the more I want to talk about it and be inspired by it, um, because I have a lot of share on that topics that he is touching base on in this book. Because I'm in the process of building my own why and wealth in my life and prosperity. So I would like to cover today, which is probably the most important as it is in the beginning of the book. I think I'm 100 pages in here of yeah, roughly 250 pages book. He's talking about the importance. Last week was the emergence of trust, which is obviously number one. And how do you go from having complete trust with people and then you want to build something in your life that's going to be sustainable and be something that you can leave for your as your legacy to your family and a following, um, but not really a following, but more a community and building a culture. And he's referencing a lot of people in history, living and not living still, that are have built such communities or built such culture. Like one example is Steve Jobs. Obviously, he's talking about he created Apple, beautiful products, but in the beginning it was just one product, and building the culture and community around it. That takes a lot of work and a lot of visions and visionary um, to do that. So, and I'm in the process of building that with amazing 12 people at the moment, which I am very proud of. And it's something that drives me every day. And even if times are tough and things are happening all the time, every day is a new day, a new possibility. I have this one community or this culture that I'm about in the process of creating with these people. And that really inspires me. And for some people, that's actually the one thing that will save them or rescue them from the challenges of life that they might be facing. Or as I said to my good friend, or I talked with my good friend last week that stop calling it challenge or struggle. You can call it the process or the have to be process or the journey that you need to go on in your path of life. And that's actually what is happening to me at the moment. And the other thing I said on this man's call yesterday, because he was live on Monday, which is the toughest day and the most stressful day for most of the world because we go back to work on Monday. Most people, I'm saying most people, hate or dislike their job, but they have to do it to make a buck, to survive. And I know that feeling very, very well. And I have said no to that for a long time now, just to force myself into new culture and communities to find something that is not derived from lack mentality or something that will take a little bit longer time to build, but once it's built, it's going to be sustainable and it's not going to go anywhere, as Apple will never go away. Yeah, something might happen to the world, but I don't believe that. Some disaster thing. We will still have the need for a phone, smartphone, technology wise, and other products we can talk about, other brands in the world and such. Basically, or I should say basically, the emphasis or the originality is that the people behind the brand or the people behind a certain community, one person, two people starting it, those are the strength and the the ground. What do you say? You say the grounding of that foundation. And if you build that strong enough with your why, which Mr. Sinek is talking about in the book, I'll read it for you in a moment. I just want to share my thoughts first. And I have invited a guest just for some time today. He might show up, might not, because we have a viewer. Thank you for coming on. Wherever you are, you are welcome to write in the comments, and then I can see your name. So if you'd like to check in, hey Matt, thanks, bro. Thank you, because I gotta let you know I was gonna go live. Thank you, Matt Simon. He's been on my call before, my Dream Big Tuesday. Check him out because he's a great musician, a great friend. He's also part of the community I just talked about, and he has created something as a side hustle, which he's very passionate about, apart from being a musician, um, fellow artist. Uh, Spreadsheet, which is take cares of the finance, and he's globalizing it now through his app or his website. Sorry, but we are planning to have an app, obviously, because it's something that we should go on creating as well. So we have it in our phone, as we were talking about now. So Matt has created such a thing, and he's one of the 12 that I'm having to build this community with. And we all have different things and points of view and different ideas for not only just business, but creating a community around having many businesses coming through our community where we can actually make a huge impact and guide or mentor or coach, which is really much needed today. So, thank you for checking in, Matt. I just want to talk about you, I guess, just for a while because it's very important what you're doing, and you make a strong point of being part of this community, which is why I'm either pick up this book, start with why. Um, and if any of you haven't read it, you should start. And I made a goal now, and I will share it so I remember it from this. I will read all Simon Sinek's book, and it started with this one. Start with why. I hold it so you can see it. Start with why. I would prefer reading it in English, but if you're hard of reading English, you should get it in your local language. It's possible. It's released in many languages, and it's about leadership basically because that's what's actually being a following and follower is also important. But at one point, you need to start implementing, and I can say that from my heart that I've been doing that for most of my life, just being a follower. But you won't create sustainable results until you start to lead yourself. And going from following or just listening, absorbing information is also good. Some people might take 10 years before they break free, which is the case for me. I have a lot of anxieties through my life, a lot of challenges or in my journey, uh, life journey, tasks I had to get through to get where I am. Now we have my guest. He's here, my special guest. He's ready now. So I will bring him on for some time, and I will end by reading the chapter of the book that I'm referencing today. So, can you guess who it is? I've had him on many times before. He's actually the founder of the community that we have created together. Matt is part of it. It's Mr. Tommy Boy, and I'll bring him to stage. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, man. How you doing?
what's up? Hey, how's it going? What's up, everybody?
What's up? Yeah, how is everybody? Matt came on, man. Our great friend in the UK.
Nice. Yes.
Let's see if I can make the screen better here. Just so we can see us a little bit better. I'm out in
So,
the sunny weather. How is my mic, by the way? Did you check that for me? Just to be sure that there's no wind coming in?
yeah, no, sounds good. Sounds
Uh,
good on my end. It's obviously not going to compare with inside, microphone, but I think your message is clear.
yeah.
Is to start with your why, and we're not really told at the beginning of our lives,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
What does that mean to you? Maybe also early on in life, it's a little bit. too early to ask. Like my daughter is 5 years old. I'm not going to ask her, what is your why? Right.
Mm.
It's a little bit unfair to put that kind of pressure on somebody who is that young.
Mm.
But it doesn't mean that you can't ask children already, um, what problems do you want to, or that you see in your world that you want to solve.
Mm.
Because I find it unfair to ask children, what do you want to be later on in life, right? It's so far ahead
Mm.
that if they have to start thinking about, okay, I want to be a nurse when they're 5 years old, and now they're like gonna be wanting to be a nurse, and now they're going completely down that road, whereas she's gonna fall in love with maybe playing football, and now she shouldn't be playing football because she said to herself that she's gonna become a nurse. It's like, your world is open, so it's a little bit. Uh, I think there's a time and a place to ask these kind of things. So
Mm.
I think it's important for people to ages that we're in, first of all.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like Simon Sinek and those alike, people who are really determined on, you know, what is your why? People like Simon Sinek, um, Peter Drucker, David Mead, which are the co-founders of his book as well, but they're very in tune with this particular topic.
Mm.
For Sorry, I'm just storming in there with
No,
with
fine.
with this,
It's
but
perfect.
because we are talking about our why, and when we're talking about, let's say, Heart Vision, right? We were
Mm.
talking, you were just talking about Heart Vision and the community and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, the ultimately, you can simplify finding your why by what is it that drives you,
Mm.
right? What is it that drives you to do the things that you want to do?
Yeah.
So, and then you can ask, well, what is drive, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is what what does it mean for somebody to have drive,
Mm.
right? And the determination of having drive behind your why, right? Remember, we're still talking about your why. Underneath that is your drive. And what is drive? It's your energy and your determination
Mm.
that you have for something, right? So for me, my energy and my determination is to be with my child and my family, that of me, as like
Sure.
the foundation of everything, right? If you pull my family from underneath me, and everybody, let's say, is like, I don't even know where I would end up. It would
Mm.
be a journey of a very long journey of trying to get over that. And I
Mm.
think a lot of people, when we're looking for our why, we tend to think that it's external from us, like,
Yeah.
oh, it's something that is ungraspable almost, but really it's just about why are you doing everything that you're doing every day.
Mm.
And it's really that simple, and it really can be as simple as your child, your wife, your family, and that's okay.
Mm.
And then purpose is separate, right?
Yeah.
That's a separate thing. Purpose is also important, but that is more of like, okay, what is my purpose in life, right? That's different than, um, it's similar, but it's not the same.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it's important to just think about the things that give you energy and the determination to do the things that you do.
Mm.
That's ultimately your why. That's the way that I see my why anyway.
Yeah.
Like I used to have, when I first found out about the word why and what that meant, after having jumped into the online marketing space, I discovered a lot about myself. Because
Mm.
once that you start becoming an entrepreneur and you start having to put your own bread on the table, you have to
Mm.
start learning about who you actually are. And that's something that a lot of people don't do because it's made easy for us.
Mm.
Because you sign into a job and then you go home and then you watch TV, and now you're being paid, and so you
Mm.
don't really have to do a lot of that legwork, so to speak. So when you are in your entrepreneurial journey, and there's a lot of us here watching us now
Mm.
that are in that space or starting off, is to start learning self-development, like learning about your vision and about your mission. What future do you want for yourself, um, and others? So write that down. What do you see what does that future look like?
Yeah.
And ask yourself, um, what what do those victories look like for me today, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it's when we step into the entrepreneurial journey, we get lost very quickly because we're not used to swimming by ourselves.
And,
We're always like holding on to the dock.
and
And
what, yeah, what do you say? Where did we get lost? Sorry, I didn't catch that. So,
well, we get lost when we start looking out for ourselves,
yeah,
because
so only ourselves, solo going. Or yeah, exactly, and that's where the ego comes in, right, and can take over completely, which I don't want to be anymore. And I try to just get out of that for 5 6 years now, especially when I became a dad. It's the best thing for us men. Sorry I interrupted you, but it's really
yeah,
good fatherhood. We
yeah,
men heard from, I don't know who it was, but one speaker I heard in Denmark, actually in Danish. She said, men, and she was a woman speaker, she said, men, you are never ready for becoming a father. You grow into that role. And fuck
mhm,
yeah, I always live by that every day. And now I'm gonna have my second child in a couple of days, and I'm really anxious. But
right.
I already learned what I don't want to
Mm.
be doing mistakes, or I will be more concise, consistent, certain things. But there's always the thing that you're learning still, father.
Right.
Like
The
it's
benefit, the benefit from
yeah.
the benefit that you have,
Mhm.
there are two things. There are two things that are happening with you right now.
Mhm.
One is the fear of the unknown, right? Oh no, I need to be ready. I need to do all these things, and yeah, you will be ready because you don't have another choice. But your other your benefit is that you've actually gone through this already, right?
Yeah.
You've actually been here already with your first child. It's the same with failing in business, failing, so to speak. Let's
There's
just
no difference, exactly.
let's just call it failing. Is that when you start running your business and it doesn't work out, and now you go for the next business, you don't start again. You start from your experience,
Mm.
right? And it's the same thing with your child. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's going to be a completely different child. It's going to be a completely different journey, but you know how to do all the things, and you're a very caring person, caring and loving and kind person. So, and you've got so much experience already, right? So, you know, uh, yeah, and I'm sure that if you dig deep into your own why, your kids live there too, and your wife, right?
Mm.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah, because I'm looking at, you said, it's funny you said Drive, because I don't know if you have read the book yet. Have you? Because it's really
No, I
uh,
actually haven't. I
no.
saw a presentation, but I didn't read the book yet.
And the chapter I'm reading now, right? It starts, you were saying drive. That was the key word for me. So I go back and I see this paragraph I'm going to reference later when you get off the call. I'm going to say, he says, the only difference between you and a caveman is the car you drive. So you said drive, but that's about drive, right? Because
Okay.
what drives a community? And
Yeah.
yeah, caveman, you just said it right. That's the ego. That's the solar right? Nobody wants to live in the cave all their life. I mean, I did grow up in a cave in Norway, but I just want to get out of it at some point. Yeah, it's beautiful. Let's go out now. Let's start living. Let's start seeing the nature. Let's see the world, right? That's where we learn. And you travel a lot, bro, right? Like double of me, probably 50 countries, is it? Something like that.
Yeah, I calculated a few years back. It was like 72 countries that I touched base on.
I'm barely at 30.
Uh,
No,
yeah, but that's already a lot. You know,
a
30
lot.
is a lot. 30
And
is like,
for our age, it's a lot actually. We're 40 something, right? 40 plus. So I'm also
yeah,
because, but the cultures I really took in traveling, communities, culture, I could adapt anywhere, bro. And I think you're also the same, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't meet, right? And now we're there here creating such a culture community. That's our absolute why, right? And we do care about the money. We do care about making a business because everybody needs to build their own thing, but it should come from their absolute desire of doing something for others and contribution and growth, as I
yeah,
talked about earlier before, and you talk about a lot on Mondays. Supercharge
yeah,
Monday, Tommy's, and he's amazing. You should check in that one every Monday. Yeah. Self.
yeah. And coffee with tea on Thursdays.
Yes, the
That's
QT is relaunched on his back.
yes. Thanks to you. Thank you for pushing me off that fence.
No, it's only me, but I will say thank you
Yeah,
to
it was you.
you
It was
made me
you.
go there on live on Tuesdays. So
Yeah. You
yeah,
see, that's like, ping pong, right?
yeah, everything goes leads to the other thing. So
Yeah, I think one of the things that I discovered was that I I burn all my ships when I went into the online space.
mm,
I didn't look back of how I would make my money other than in that way. I didn't want to live that painful existence the way
mm,
that I was living before. I didn't realize that it was a painful existence until I realized, well, first of all, when I had my child, that was the biggest wake up call.
mm,
And then I realized how fragile I was, how sensitively positioned I was in the work that I was doing at the time. And then I just went all in, literally burned all the ships,
yeah,
and just went for it because I knew that I needed to have that pressure.
yeah,
And I just dedicated it to it. And I just made all the phone calls. I did whatever I needed to do to get that set up. And this is something that we can all do.
mm,
But it is about um, asking yourself uh, about that drive and about the vision that you want to create, holding yourself close to your values, what you stand for, and what are the things that you certainly do not stand for. Listening to people that give you criticism. We are, most of us are not built for that because we're not educated for that. That's also part of schooling and education. Those are two separate things. Schooling is literally school, and education is life experience.
mm.
That's the way I see it, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs see it that way too.
Yeah, because
And
hard knocks, right? It's never gonna change because all the entrepreneurs I met, most in Denmark and Sweden and Norway, because that's where I started my business journey at. I think I was 15, probably 95. So yeah, and it's like all the people I met in seminars with Tony Robbins in London, there was nobody in that room of 15,000 people that didn't have a crazy story like us. And it's like
right,
nobody got taught in school, which we also, by the way, trying to change with our Heart Vision, right? We want to create courses, or we don't like to call it courses, but it is, if you have to put it down to that, right? It is a course, but we want to help people actually implement their desire and create a business that is not part of the educational system per se as it's taught still in
yeah,
school, because we forget the
exactly.
most important element is you, everybody in the classroom, as I was neglected growing
Hey,
up
I'm on
because
a
the teacher
call.
forgot me.
Okay,
Basically,
I'll be there.
yeah.
Sorry.
You can. How much time you got left, bro? I mean, you
No, no,
really, really made
no,
this
it's up to you. Something though that I want to leave with is everyone that that is observing us
mm,
thinks that we're crazy until we succeed.
mm,
And I think that that's something to keep in mind, is
mm,
that no no big name that was a visionaire
mm,
um, was led to being shut down so that
Mm.
they wouldn't move forward with their dreams,
Yeah.
right? So people will call you crazy until you succeed. And then whenever those results come,
Mm.
whenever you start implementing and um, whenever you start moving people's lives, and transformation, I think, is
Mm.
important to acknowledge with
Mm.
regards of Heart Vision as well, and also Dream Big artists, is that you're focusing on transformation for people.
Yeah.
And it's such a big word for people. They only see it in a schooling setting, in a school setting.
Mm.
Whereas if you talk about spirituality
Yeah.
or entrepreneurship, that's outside of school.
Yeah.
Most of that happens outside of school.
Mm.
So let them think you're crazy. Focus on success, focus on your journey, focus on your why, focus on your vision, focus on your mission, focus on your values, and just keep striving for what you believe is the right thing to do in your life. Otherwise, 80 years old, and you're going to go, man, I should have done it differently.
Uh-huh.
And now you're full of regret. So, yep, make a few dollars on the side. Do that too. It's important for our families. But
Mm.
do not forget about your why. Do not forget about your vision and how you can impact the world.
Mm.
To make the world a better place. Ultimately.
Yeah.
All
True.
right, I will leave you now because I know I'm kind of taking over here. So
No, it's fine. You are very experienced in this. Tommy's been going live for a long time, so I'm still learning. But it's cool you came on, and thank you for accepting my invitation, as always. If it's
have a
possible, we're juggling
yes,
time, me and Tommy, so we have to coordinate. But that's the thing. Just taking that time for your friend or your family just to get on their call. It's a huge thing. And Maria is saying something. See, Maria says something. Don't let anyone's opinions bring you down. Everyone's going to have one anyway. Exactly. Thank you, Maria. That's spot on. Maria was
yeah,
on yesterday with Tommy, so we should check out all the Supercharged Mondays. Maria has a lot of things to say all the way from Tenerife. So thank you
Tenerife.
for coming on. Yeah, it's all the things you say is kind of spot on. I just love books, and I read a lot of books that have transformed me into the person I am today. And it's harder to pick up a book the more journey uh, tasks you get. I don't want to use the word struggle because we talked about that the other day. Right? Try to put the context into journey. It's like a have to journey, right? Uh,
Mm.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. We love you too.
Hi,
Um,
Maria. Hello, hola.
so and it's really, really important that yeah, just implement. So I started reading morning. I don't care. I just want to fall asleep with a book. And if I read like 3 lines, it doesn't matter. I put something in my mind. I go to bed with that.
Mm.
A part about doing
Mm.
in the night,
Oh
but
yeah,
sleep, and in the morning. You talk a lot about that Supercharged Monday, all these daily habits, which is the hardest on Mondays. And I went into study this 10 years ago, and it's true. Yesterday, here in Malmö, ambulance, boom, 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 coming. And the first thought I had is Monday because people are crazy on Mondays all year
yeah.
round. Not to say bad about Monday, but you're changing it. You're changing the energy actually with Maria when you come on Mondays. So I said that to you in the beginning. I remember I said that back in September that don't stop, bro, because it's so important. You don't know who you're gonna hit on that Monday, and
Yeah.
that's the beautiful thing about being globalized on Facebook. Anybody can check it out because you're a public feed. Like we're doing public here now, right? Public
Yeah.
channel, so anybody can hook up to that.
If if anyone's not feeling it on a Monday morning, put on your favorite radio station or your favorite music or something like that. Just get it, get out, get it going. It's okay to be in the zone of like, okay, I need to just, low vibe. That's fine. But there's also a time and a place for, you know, daydreaming, visionaire kind of thoughtfulness and stuff like that. But if you're struggling to get out of that grump, put on your favorite music.
Yeah.
Start dancing, start moving your body, start going for a walk, go outside. Just right.
Okay,
All right,
bro.
brother.
Thank you.
Speak later. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Matt, Maria, everybody. Speak soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you, bro. Thank you for coming
Bye.
on. Bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Tommy. Amazing guy, and you should check out Tommy Boy. He's building his, yeah, the community I'm part of, Hard Vision, and he also has a Tommy Boy page here on Facebook, and he's also on TikTok. He has a lot of things to say about a lot of things, and being a fellow artist, I obviously connect with him. Sorry, some wind coming now, I think. So yeah, check out us if you aren't interested being part of a community who actually cares, not only about the money, but also about creating the best version of you. Because that's also why I'm sitting here. I don't want to hold back on anything anymore, because we don't know who's going to be watching. Um, and you might inspire or save that person's life. As I was talking to my friend in the weekend, fellow actor, one of my best friends, and we said, yeah, he agreed with me. You don't know, you might save that person's life in having a complete meltdown. I have gone down with stress 2 times in my life, so I know how that feels. And it's only part of life. I embrace it. So every time that happens or has happened, I embrace the journey. I say, I need to learn this. There's a lesson to be learned. And everything happens for you, not to you. So when I changed that one word in the sentence, it started to change for me. And that was not too long ago. So yeah, because as my friend said, he had seen a video. Somebody had seen a video of another guy. We didn't mention him here, but I will. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V for short. He also has a Tea with Gary V on YouTube channel. He had a person who he connected with at some. I think my friend said it was a seminar, and this person came up to Gary and said, "Thank you for saving my life," and he was stunned because that person had actually considered suicide that day and put on Gary V's video, probably from YouTube channel. I'm not clear on where it was, but it doesn't matter. It was any platform because he's on most platforms. So exactly, that's a message to the world that don't underestimate the power of somebody sharing their opinions or their life journey or what they have to say, because we all have something to say from our heart. And when I talk to people, I meet people on the street, I connect with them. Some people instantly, some people not. But once they start talking about what is actually on their mind and they share it sincerely, I can get really emotional as I'm right now talking about it, because that person is actually sharing its true self. So thank you for listening today, guys. So I will finish off. I won't take much more of your time today. But I will read shortly from the book, which I promised myself to do. Tommy says, yes, thank you, brother. Thank you, thank you. See you another call. So, as I said to Tommy, the chapter starts like this: the only difference between you and a caveman is the car you drive. And Tommy was talking about drive, and we talk about ego. Do you want to be controlled by your ego, or do you want to pitch, put your ego into use and collaborate with others to create something that can live on forever? I would pick number two always, and have so many many times. So I will just read some paragraphs from this chapter because it talks about culture and community. Cultures are groups of people. Sorry about the wind, guys. Hope it's still running. I have 4 viewers. Thank you for coming on, wherever you are. You can write in the comments so I can see your name. Just write something. You can DM me also. So I'm reading from the book Simon Sinek, Start With Why. Amazing book. Here it is. So I'm just going to read from the chapter that I'm covering at the moment, because I'm going to cover most of the book because I'm really inspired by it. Cultures are groups of people who come together around a common set of values and beliefs. When we share values and beliefs with others, we form trust. The previous video I had was about trust. So this is from trust, it leads to community and having the values and beliefs in order. Trust of others allows us to rely on others to help protect our children and ensure our personal survival. The ability to leave the den, to hunt or explore with confidence, that the community will protect your family and your stuff until you return, is one of the most important factors in the survival of an individual and the advancement of our species. That is deep. Wow. That we trust people with common values and beliefs is not in itself a profound assertion. There is a reason we're not friends with everyone we meet. We're friends with people who see the world the way we see it, who share our views and our belief sets. No matter how good a match someone looks on paper, that doesn't guarantee a friendship. You think of it on a macro scale also. The world is filled with different cultures. Being American is not being better than French. They're just different cultures. Not better or worse, just different. American culture strongly values ideals of entrepreneurship, independence, and self reliance. We call our why the American dream. We hear that a lot in movies and such. French culture strongly values ideals of unified identity, group reliance, and joie de vivre. I had French in school. It's a bit rusty. Uh, Notice, he says here in the parenthesis, notice that we use the French word to describe the joy of life lifestyle. That's what it means. Coincidence? Perhaps, he questions. I don't think so, because that's something we know from the French culture that is derived from lifestyle, similar to Spain and Italy, I would say. So that's a beautiful thing to notice. Some people are good fits in French culture, and some people are good fits in American culture. Me. It is not a matter of better or worse, they are just different. Most people who are born and raised in one culture will, for obvious reasons, end up being reasonably good fit in that culture, but not always. There are people who grew up in France who never quite felt like they belonged. They were misfits in their own culture. So they moved, maybe, to America. Drawn to the feelings they had for America's why, they followed the American dream and emigrated. It's always said that America is fueled in large part of immigrants, but it's completely false that all immigrants make productive members of society. No comment. It's not true that all immigrants have entrepreneurial spirit, just the ones that are visually drawn to America. That's what a why does. When it is clearly understood, it attracts people who believe the same thing, and assuming they are good fits for what Americans believe and how they do things, those immigrants will say of America, "I love it here," or "I love this country." This visual reaction had less to do with America and more to do with them, so that we should always remember it has to do with us. It's how they feel about their own opportunity and their own ability to thrive in a culture in which they feel like they belong versus the one they came from. Now, within the big why, that is America, it breaks down even further. Some people are better fits in New York, and some are better fits in Minneapolis. One culture is not better or worse than the other, they are just different. Many people dream of moving to New York, for example, attracted to the glamour of or the perception of opportunity. They arrive with aspirations of making it big, but they fail to consider whether they will fit into the culture before they make their move. This is something I thought about when I grew up in Norway and before I came to Denmark here and Sweden, being born and raised in Norwegian culture, which I love till this day. And I'm still fitting good there, so I'm very proud of that. I considered to go to New York to study acting, but I didn't. I chose the path to live in my home country, Denmark, uh, and eventually led me to Sweden here in Malmö. So I have actually grown up with these three cultures the last, 40 years, but the last half of my year, last 20 years, in two cultures, Sweden and Denmark. So it's very interesting, and I see the world like that too, in many ways. Back to the book. Some make it, but so many don't. Over and over, I've seen people come to New York with big hopes and dreams, but either couldn't find the job they wanted or they found it but couldn't take the pressure. They are not dumb or bad or poor workers, they're just bad fits. So don't judge yourself. If you feel like that, that's because you don't fit in that culture. So then you need to find your spot. And it happened to me a lot in my life, and I still find a fit for me. And might and you might get tired of that fit as you grow as a human being because it's part of life, your journey, and you might want to move back to where you've been before, or you find a new spot to live where you fit in. And if you're here, I can contribute and be myself. That's very common. So if you're feeling like that, that's completely okay. They either they either stay in New York and exert more effort than they need to, hating their jobs and their lives, 9 to 5 Mondays, or they move. I just said that. If they move to a city in which there are better fits, Chicago, San Francisco, or somewhere else, Malmo, Oxy, Copenhagen, they often end up much happier and more successful. New York is not rationally better than other cities. It's just not right for everyone. Like all cities, it's only right for those who are good fits. Almost there, but I think it's important to cover the whole section paragraph here because it's really good. Amazing. The same can be said for any place that has a strong culture or recognizable personality. Here, personality comes in as well through a strong culture. We do better in cultures in which we are good fits. We do better in places that reflect our own values. Sorry about the wind, guys. Um, sorry, I lost it. Sun here. Oh, I gotta go down here, guys, so you can hear me. We do better in places that reflect our own values and the beliefs, just as the goal is not to do business with people who believe what you believe. Sorry, I go back. Just as the goal is not to do business with anyone who simply wants what you have, but to do business with people who believe what you believe. So to do so too is it is beneficial to live and work in a place where you will naturally thrive because your values and beliefs align with the values and beliefs of that culture. Now consider what a company is. A company is a culture. That's what I said in the beginning of this live today. A group of people who brought together around a common set of values and beliefs. It's not products or services that bind a company together. It's not size and might that make a company strong. It's the culture, the strong sense of beliefs and values that everyone, from the CEO to the receptionist, all share. So the logic follows. Sorry, guys. This is the final note. Then I'm gonna leave it to it and go create. So the logic follows. The goal is not to hire people who simply have a skill set that you need. The goal is to hire people who believe what you believe. Thank you guys. Have a great Tuesday. And remember, dream big.